Hi, I'm Tony,
And I'm Jeremy.
and you're watching Ronincast, episode 6.
Yeah, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. Whatever you do comment will dictate what we talk about next. And we're actually going to ask you guys to recommend some movies. We have a lot of favorite movies and, different directors that we like or composers that we like. Like some examples, we like Christopher Nolan, Wes Anderson, Taika Waititi, and there's a lot of
Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino. I mean, there's a lot of.
George Lucas. Spielberg.
Snyder.
Yeah.
Just just throw some movies randomly in the comments of that you like or that you hate.
We'll give you some review and maybe some behind the scenes stuff that
we'll let you know.
find.
Yeah, we'll let you know what we think about it, and just different things. It can be nerdy, it can not be nerdy, whatever.
Recently, we just finished Catch Me If You Can.
That was fun.
Which is a Spielberg film, which was pretty fun.
That was a good one.
If you guys want us to talk about
Leonardo
it, we can.
DiCaprio.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
And Tom Hanks. Yeah.
So,
let's without further ado go to the comments from last week's video, and then we'll
I
talk
think
about.
this whole video is just gonna kind of be short, and we'll just do some comments from the last video. Some stuff that you guys left us. So
Yes. So first up, we've got Gino O commented 22 hours ago. What is your favorite Sith and Jedi, and why do you like them? And then, do you like Jedi Fallen Order? I have not played Jedi Fallen Order yet.
Yeah,
I do have a PS4, and I was needing to borrow it from a friend. I've seen a lot of clips. I probably spoiled it for myself, but I've heard it's a pretty good game.
yeah.
I did like the Starkiller games better, I think.
The Force
I
Unleashed
played those a
games were
lot.
great.
Yeah,
I
so
love those.
If it's anything like that, I'm sure I'll like it. But
Yeah.
as far as Jedi and Sith goes, what's your favorite Jedi?
I'm gonna have to.
We'll start with Jedi first,
Yeah,
and then
we'll
we'll
do
move to Sith.
Jedi. I'll have to do Luke, just because I'm such a fan of the original trilogy, but then also I really like a lot of the Legends books, and his whole story, going into the future and then starting the new Jedi Academy, and Mara Jade and everything. And so I definitely Luke. I just think he has such a fun arc, not only with the movies but then also the books and the novelizations, stuff like that. Yeah.
I think since I was a kid, I always liked Obi-Wan, and I think it stayed Obi-Wan. I think as I developed more and grew older, I actually liked the character more because he stayed true to himself no matter what he came across. And even though he lost almost everybody he ever cared for, he still stayed true to his code. And instead of choosing the dark side or anything like that, that's mainly his character arc. And I think that's why I like him so much, is because despite the odds, he has remained true to himself. And that's the most that we can ask for each other and ourselves, is to be true to ourselves. And so I think that's why he's my favorite character, as well as being really cool on screen and being agile and wise, and I also like him for that reason too. Now, bad guys.
Ooh, yeah, villains. Actually, you want to go first?
I will go first.
Yeah, go first.
So, equally as much as I like Obi-Wan is his arch nemesis, which originally I thought was Grievous. I thought, back in the day, Grievous was his arch nemesis, but now I realize it was Maul the entire time, because Clone Wars and the comics and all this
Rebels.
and Rebels, all that jazz, has compacted a total that I'm like, okay, Maul was definitely the OG nemesis. And so Maul is my favorite Sith, and mainly because of the characterization that they did in Clone Wars, the amount of stuff that they added to his character, as well as fleshing out his brother and Mother Townsend and his role with the Emperor and how much he knew with Order 66, all of that stuff happening. I absolutely love what they did with the character. Love Sam Witwer and Ray Park and all of what they did with that character, as well as seeing him in Solo. I thought that was kind of cool, despite all the controversy with that movie. I did like him a lot, and it's just there's amount of like originally in Phantom Menace he was amazing and terrifying and agile and crazy cool, but then it just added on top of that with Clone Wars and Maul with Ahsoka and even Pre Vizsla and Savage and the Emperor versus Palpatine scene. It's so good, and I absolutely love him for that reason. And then I think that's mainly it.
Cool.
The amount of parkour he has, the veracity, the fighting style. It's all everything I would want to be as a Sith is inherited with Darth Maul.
Yeah.
So
cool. Yeah, I'm gonna do one that's a little different. It's just this Sith has not been on screen. I don't know. It just, for some reason, I like a lot of the Siths that are on screen and everything, but I think the one that has the coolest story, it's just Darth Bane. I just think he's so sick, and reading the Darth Bane trilogy is so sick. So if you haven't, definitely go check that out. It's amazing. And
see, I could say the same thing about Maul Breakout. I think
Maul Breakout, and then he
Breakout
also has
good.
one, or Lockdown, maybe it
Lockdown,
is.
yeah,
that's
Lockdown,
what it is.
yeah.
That's good. But I don't know, just his whole philosophy, and I mean, I just think he was a true Sith, and he created the rule of two, and then watching him teach, Darth Xana and everything, it was just really cool. And he was a genius, but also just an absolutely horrible villain. but at the same time you were kind of rooting for him. Really, really cool. I like his whole character and his background, and yeah, I don't know. I just think those books were really good, and for some reason, I don't know, he just seems like just the coolest Sith. I don't know. I just really like him. He's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
pretty
Next
bad, eh?
up, let's see here. I believe it's that one there.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. From Limmy Walnut 94, who's commented a couple times before. Thank you.
Welcome back.
Yes, he commented, "What's y'all's favorite lightsaber hilt design?" Which I love y'all's.
So we brought some here to demo.
For Tony, at least.
My absolute favorite, ever since I watched, I guess, like, it's changed through the years a bit. Like, at first I was just, like, a huge fan of Obi-Wan, and so I didn't really care whose it was, if it was the design or not. If it was Obi-Wan's, then I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And then as I grew older, I'm like, I did like the Episode 3 version a lot better, and then I also really liked Luke's version. I was like, oh, well, I guess I like thin necks a lot, and I really like the idea of having a section where you can, it's very bold to have a section that's exposed, as well as you have all this grip point, and you can still see definitions of the lightsaber sticking out, that, you know, necessarily isn't, I guess, sturdy or whatnot for some reason, but just aesthetically pleasing to have something that sticks out that much beyond your grip and to be independent on its own. And I just really liked it. And so I've got the Momwell Heroes and the Inception here to kind of give you guys an idea, but I absolutely love these sabers. It's just, I mean, the control box is kind of annoying, but I do love seeing that neck and how different it can be. I think personally, if I made a lightsaber, it'd probably be a thin neck, but it'd probably be like silver.
Silver
so,
one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the V2.
Yeah.
Of like Luke's.
Yeah, kind of a black and silver. And so right where their copper is, I just put silver.
Really cool.
And so, yeah. Which you can do with the Mom, actually.
Yeah.
It has
You can, yeah, because it comes with all those extra pieces, which we can link that unboxing review
Oh, yeah.
video in the description for you guys to see that. It comes with all sorts of really cool necks. Copper, brass, and aluminum, I think.
Copper, brass, yeah.
Yeah, wow. It comes with everything. It's
I
really
wish,
cool.
see, that's the thing, though. If I had a steel version of it, I would have used that for the silver.
Interesting.
That's what I would have done, yeah. But yeah, thin necks, man, I can't get rid of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I wish they made a really cool Jason Solo lightsaber, because Jason Solo's lightsaber from...
Another Legends character.
Yeah, would have been perfect, because he was supposed to have kind of a Luke Skywalker-esque saber, and then it's supposed to change down here.
Yeah.
And so if I had to wish a saber, because, like, Corbin has one, but, like... It's not,
you don't
like...
think it's accurate?
Well, it's not, like, the emitter is longer than I would like it to be. I wish it had the same emitter exactly as Luke's or Obi-Wan's. Instead, it's, like, elongated.
Sure.
But that would probably be a thin neck I would really like.
Thin
It's
necks.
just, yeah, thin necks. Have a thin neck collection, you know? So.
Cool, yeah.
What about you?
Again, it's a person that's not on screen. Well, they're kind of on screen. I'm going to go with Star Killers. Just having something about...
Wait, which version?
The one with the exposed crystal reveal.
Okay, the first one.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that was so cool.
I mean, like his second one.
It's just, I mean, they're both cool. I mean, I like a lot of the hilts, and I really like the slanted like emitter kind of stuff. But again, it's just crystal reveals. I think are just so cool in the first place. But having his be a it's an open crystal reveal.
I think if I think correctly, it's the first saber that we were introduced to, like canon wise in the video games or even or movies, where they have an exposed crystal like that.
So sick! I don't know, something about it, and that's one that I'm really, I would love to just one day, be able to see it and play around with it. Which hopefully, I know Seven Chambers
has one
maybe coming out, or they have one, yeah. Hopefully, I'm hoping to get one of those.
Get some hands on there.
Yeah, just because it's just I don't know, it's just so cool because I mean it's one thing to have a saber that opens up and you can see the crystal, but I just think it's kind of, I don't know, like flimsy. I don't know, like I don't know. I feel like you could always possibly break it or something, just because it has all the extra parts. But if it's like this built-in, heavy, like fortified, like crystal, I don't know. I just think it's really sick, and just being able to see the thing that powers the saber always, I think it's just really bad.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going with.
So let's see.
Good old.
What's the third one? Let's see. Starkiller character. What do you think of the Starkiller character? We just kind of talked about that, actually.
Oh, yeah. It's cool. Great video
very
games.
cool. I played both the video games on Xbox 360 and Wii back in the day, and I always...
played on PS3.
Different generations. Anyway. But
Wii
U. But no, I remember playing and getting different crystals and stuff. I remember playing as Obi-Wan and Boba Fett the most.
I remember looking up YouTube videos for all the cheat codes. Yep. You could have all the characters and all the colors.
Just play as C-3PO or the droid or
whatever. Like, you could play as a Stormtrooper. That was fun.
That was
funny.
Fun games. I absolutely love it. I don't know if, like, his character, I don't think is canon anymore at all. But
thanks, Disney.
It was fun when it happened. Your top Star Wars books would be a cool video. I agree.
Yeah, so
cool
we can
video.
talk about that. So that'll be our last question for this video. It'll be short, but just some fun stuff.
So what we've got here are some demos.
Lost Stars. So Tony, you want to talk about what you
Yes. So
your big picks?
I've read a few over the days. I'm more of a Star Wars comic book guy than more of a novel guy, and so I read Sons of Dathomir and more Darth Maul comic books. And I used to have an Attack of the Clones one, and so and I used to have, like, I always check out in my library in elementary school. I used to check out just the Star Wars comic books and read them, even though they're like the same thing from Phantom Menace. They're just remade into comic book version. And then 8th grade year, Lost Stars came out, and my mom bought this for my birthday. I was like, here, you can have this. This is cool. I don't know what it's about, but it's Star Wars.
Star Wars.
And so I didn't know.
Thick.
I didn't know what it was about either. I think the thing on the encryption said it was like this was supposed to lead into The Force Awakens and the Battle of Jakku. I was like, I want to know more about that. And so, because back then it was cool. And so I ended up reading it, and it was completely different than what I expected. There's two people that grow up together on this planet, and they end up...
spoil the whole book.
I don't want to spoil the whole book. I will give them a very slight summary. Because if they're Star Wars fans, I'm sure that they've kind of read this or heard about it. Anyways, two people that grow up together, and they end up growing apart. Because both of them end up joining the Empire because they're really cool and pilots, and they have different traits and stuff, and they have different upbringings. One's pretty rich, one's pretty poor, and so it talks about that kind of class separation as well as how your different perspectives and stuff. And that's one thing that Claudia Gray, the author, does really well, is that you see both perspectives very clearly on where they're coming from and why. And so in the book, you kind of choose between one or the other depending on the scenario, and eventually they get separated and actually have to fight against each other, and things happen. But it's a really emotional book because you think about the people and friends that you've grown up with that could be arch enemies or people that you've grown apart from, and you can see how that relationship's changed over the years. And so I actually have the hardback version of this.
Yeah, that's my copy. But
yeah, but I absolutely love this book. I will die on that hill. It's probably one of my favorites.
That's a good one.
So yeah, and then next up is the Ahsoka book. Now,
so good.
This I did like a lot.
Such a great book.
This was that came out in a time where we were uncertain about what happened with Ahsoka, and Rebels had just come out with the whole Ahsoka Lives thing, and Dave Filoni had done that.
And the shirt at Comic-Con.
Right, and we were like, well, what is this? And we read. I read this with my twin brother Tristan, and we were very blown away by it. The whole idea of how she got her lightsabers, her silver lightsabers that we see in Rebels, and how she worked with Bail Organa and all this other stuff. And it was really cool to kind of see that, and kind of her thoughts on what happened and how she survived. Because it's really cool to see Anakin's and Obi-Wan's training after so long where she hasn't used it, where she's rusty with the Force, or like things like that.
Or
of
building lightsabers.
Yes, or even building lightsabers. And the one thing that's kind of upsetting is that this book isn't technically canon anymore.
No, they retconned it.
The whole Order 66 thing didn't happen.
The attack on Mandalore.
The attack on Order 66 was supposed to happen on Mandalore in this book. Yeah. And Rex and Ahsoka bury themselves, or their I guess personas, his armor, on Mandalore, and so he's presumed dead. But clearly that doesn't happen because Bad Batch and everything else.
Yeah.
And so
Season 7.
Besides that, still a really good read.
Great book.
It gets you again an idea of what Ahsoka was going through during that time, and it could possibly still be going on.
Yeah. And it starts the whole thing with the Fulcrum.
Yes, Cold Fulcrum. Yeah.
Which is cool.
And so definitely worth a read. Very fun. In this cover, it kind of has blue kind of ish blades, but they're supposed to be like
white,
silver white.
Yeah, they're bluish white. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I picked a couple as well. Just to kind of go old first. Shadows of the Empire.
Yeah.
Which we actually kind of read it last summer.
Yeah.
Read it together, and it's just fun. Just being able to read stuff around the original trilogy again.
I absolutely love that book.
It just makes it so much interest. I don't know. I just like it a lot. There's a lot. I don't want to spoil anything, but definitely
it's very quirky. I love how like it's like you get, because it's split up with like Skywalker and Leia and different sides of the story, much like the films are, where it's like, because this takes place after Empire Strikes Back, so Han's been frozen in carbonite, and Leia and Luke are trying to go after him, and they come across different people that kind of remnants of Maul, actually.
Yeah,
the Black Sun.
Yeah, the Black Sun, and we're going through, and it's fun seeing the main characters deal with other foes than just like Jedi, Sith kind of stuff. They're dealing with crime syndicates, they're dealing with drug lords, they're dealing with all sorts of these crazy guys who have mass amounts of money, resources, people on their side.
Very powerful.
You don't know if who you're talking to is a double agent. You know what I mean? But also they're very like the leader of the Black Sun. I mean, very.
Which
they're smart.
What was his name again? We always Zizor. I always pronounced it wrong. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, Zizor and or I think that's how you pronounce it. I know it starts with an X.
Exor
Or Exor. I don't know. That's what we said. Who knows? But
I loved.
But they're just geniuses.
My favorite part is I think this is the book that makes canon where Luke builds his lightsaber in Ben's cabin back on Tatooine, and so he builds this lightsaber there, and he experiments, and it's so funny because I was
experimenting with it through the time because he had just lost the Grapplex.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I was like, because I was in the middle of installing sabers at the time, and we just started the
and even on the cover here, I mean, it's going through different stuff. It's like an orange lightsaber.
Yeah, it's like a yellowish color.
It's like he's not quite figured it out.
And it was so cool because as I was reading it, I just started installing sabers for people, and so it was a really cool moment because I'm building sabers, and there's a part in there where it's like, I don't know if it's gonna work, I don't know if it's gonna blow up, and I'm gonna die.
He's so worried that he's gonna
and I'm like,
mess up the crystal.
I can relate to that. Like building a lightsaber for the first time, you're like, did I wire this up correctly? Is the board gonna short out? It's all this worries and stuff that you have when you're first building sabers, and like I could relate to it in such a cool level because I install them.
Yeah, but it does such a good job, of sounding like the characters. Like there's a lot of things like some of the new movies or it's like Han wouldn't say that or Leia wouldn't say something like that. It feels like, I mean, you can hear Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher saying the words in this
There's
book.
also moments in there where Luke feels his ability and is like testing his force abilities, and he's like, oh well, I could feel it going through me, and there's a point where he's focusing and meditating where he's like, I could feel one with the force. And there's also a moment where I thought was really, really cool where it's kind of like Rogue One, where like Vader, it mentions Anakin's name in that, which I don't know if that was intent. When did this come out again?
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it mentions Anakin in the name, in the book itself.
Maybe it did. Yeah, 1996.
Yeah, and so this came out way after. But one thing I really did like was it talks about Vader healing himself for periods of time, and how over time, if he kept doing it, he could heal himself entirely. And that was something that we didn't really look upon at all in the series. Like, it talks about in the prequels how he could, Plagueis was able to, bring people back to life or heal people in that way with midichlorians and whatnot. But it never actually, saw Vader succeeding or even trying it. And in that novel, we get a hint at Vader's been trying it, and he's been succeeding at it step by step.
A little bit, yeah, and it's like really, it takes a lot of
energy,
energy and
focus,
force,
and
sometimes, it's almost making it regress, it's like making it worse.
Because he'll focus, and then as soon as he loses focus, it goes back to normal.
It's kind of like Darth Bane with the Orbalisks. And, it was like trying to figure out, maybe he could kind of control it for a bit, and you're like, okay, I don't feel pain now or something, but then, something else would happen, and then, okay, now more is growing, this issue. But and then to go to my second, I had to have a Timothy Zahn book, and I chose actually Choices of One. Which Tony hasn't read this one.
Nope.
He needs to. It's very good. It's the whole kind of. It's not quite the beginning of Mara Jade. We see a little bit of her in the Allegiance book, which is right before this one. But this is her book, and I absolutely love her character. I think she's super cool, and I wish Disney would have made their new trilogy about Mara Jade. I don't know why.
Have a piece of Mara Jade.
I don't know why they didn't. They're like, let's have a strong, powerful female. It's like, well, you got a great one right here that millions of people already love.
Yeah.
And
there's a fun out there that Matt Calman,
and
I
also
think,
she's just amazing in the sense of, she starts out as, she's the Emperor's, hand...
assassin.
Whatever, right hand...
I assume.
Man, I can't remember the name of it exactly. But, yeah, she's basically the assassin for the Emperor. And goes through her story of, entangling with Luke and, his little band of, people...
Rebels.
But then the whole book kind of follows her, and she's doing stuff for the Empire, and then she has a fun group of clones in here that are absolutely amazing, and their story gets told between a couple different books.
You mean stormtroopers, not clone troopers?
Or sorry, stormtroopers, whatever. Yeah, whatever. And they're amazing as well. They all have great personalities, and it's interesting to see them kind of deal with, I don't really trust the Empire, and then you get to see kind of her, starting to question things. But,
same with Lost Stars. There's characters in there as well that do that.
I just like her beginning before she meets Luke, and then she becomes Luke's wife eventually, and which is so cool. But
what was that one character in Shadows of the Empire that we were introduced to? What's his name?
I don't remember.
He's a Han Solo type character. I forgot his name.
Rengar or something
Dash
like that.
Rendar?
Dash Rendar, yeah.
That guy. We get introduced to him,
cool.
which he's a returning character.
Yeah, he's a returning character. And
And
there's a lot of books that we haven't read. I'm currently
yeah.
reading through chronologically. So I haven't quite made it to the other stuff by like Timothy Zahn. So like the Thrawn trilogy, I have them. I just haven't quite got to them because I want to read it chronologically so it all makes sense. So I'm slowly going through all those.
And
but, yeah.
I was reading after Shadows of the Empire. I decided to go back and read Lost Stars again.
Yeah.
And so I've gotten pretty far.
But
with
there's so many other books that we didn't mention.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
there's so many
loads.
stuff, especially during like the prequels. Again, like he talked about, books about Maul, or there's there's fun, Han Solo trilogies.
The
or
Vader comics are great.
oh my
Vader
gosh,
comics
those
were
were
fantastic. I've read all of those.
Or like there's a couple, like there's a 2-book series about Barriss Offee.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, very cool, very. It felt like a World War II kind of, or like it was very medic, like because it was all about her being a Jedi healer and dealing with clones in the battlefield. It was very interesting, and completely discounts Rey and some of her abilities.
Yep,
interesting. But there's just so many great books, and I'm excited
Let us
to read
know
more,
what your favorite books are, if you have, or what things you have read, or things you want to read.
Them. They're just good. Like even though Disney's like, they're not canon, they're significantly better than what Disney's made. So I don't care.
Yeah,
they're great.
We are Legends fans here too, so Legend love.
Yes, expanded universe. All right.
So I guess that concludes Ronincast episode 6. I hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, and please leave a comment of what you want us to talk about next. A movie, drop it down, something, anything, could be anything that you like or dislike, and we'll see you next time
On Ronincast.